Well, hello to you all. It's that time of year when we can look back at the year going past, 2009, and have a quick look forward to what we think 2010 is going to hold. There's no doubt about it, 2009, which is our 7th year of the championship, was a cracker of a year. We usually find that we produce some really good talent in the championship, but I think in 2009 we've seen some names come through that are certainly going to feature in rallying, not only in Scotland, but in the British Rally Championship and in European events, for many years to come. So that gives us great delight. So as I say, I think we can say it was a vintage year. I'd like to start by just saying a few thank yous for 2009, and first of all to our sponsors and supporters, and our main title sponsor, brick&steel. It's been a great pleasure to work with John McClory again. John is so supportive, and he's been right in there with us. He's not a distant assistant, he's in there at the front line, he attends the meetings. He has his views, and we all appreciate the inputs that we get from everyone. But working with John is superb. This year we've had this big, fantastic new focal point, our van, which we have to thank John for. And that has made such a big difference to us. Not just the organisers, but the competitors. We've been identified with something, and the big white brick&steel 205 van has been there, all the main points. So a big thank you to John. Next up, the Hankook and AWM arrangement. Now, you can't say one without the other, because without AWM we wouldn't have Hankook, and Hankook is a very important item for AWM as well. Both are very important to us. Hankook, basically for the quality of the tyre they've given us. This is the first year we've switched, and yeah, it's been painful, I suppose, for some people cost-wise, but the product has been tremendous. I mean, I've not yet to meet a competitor who's actually spoken down about the product. Really is a very good product. And then, of course, Hankook themselves. They're an active marketing organisation, and Mike Patterson, with the work he's been doing, has been a huge help to us. And we've got a lot of benefit from that, from being associated with the Hankook brand. We just hope that Hankook feel the same about the brick&steel 205 Ecosse Challenge. And then, of course, the relationship between Hankook and Andrewwood Motorsport. Andrew's the guy you see who fits the tyres to your car, but in between we've got a company called Mr. Tyre, who are the distributor. So we have to thank them all for the level of service we get, which is impeccable, which is really fantastic. Great product, great service, great marketing. What more can we ask for? Well, we did ask for more, and we got it. We got our own junior prize this year, for 2009, I should say, which was a tyre deal for 2010, which is worth a lot of money. So that has gone to John McCrone, so we look forward to seeing how John uses up that prize. And finally, one of our other major supporters, we don't get any money from them, but we get a lot of support, and that's Knockhill. Knockhill give us a lot of use of their facilities, and that is given freely and willingly. And we do our bit to help them on some of the promotions they do, but in general we have a wonderful working relationship with Knockhill, and we would be lost without the facility that we have up there. Next, the events. In 2009 we used 6 events in the Scottish Rally Championship, and that was a huge success. Fantastic quality events, been great for us anyway, I mean that just goes without saying, but the quality of the events we've seen this year in Scotland have been quite incredible, and the organisers have been rewarded with high entry levels, which has been very encouraging for everyone all around. So we're delighted to be associated with the Scottish Rally Championship and the rounds that we compete on. I'd also like to add our thanks to our friends across the border in the north east of England. We go over to the Cheviot, and Otterburn is just a fantastic experience for everyone, and we get so welcomed. Going down to Otterburn, it can be a kind of dreich place if it's raining, but we get such a welcome, and we all enjoy going down there. Quality event, quality organisers. And finally, I want to mention the Scottish Rally Championship junior effort, the Hankook junior part of the Scottish Rally Championship. I think all our junior competitors are registered in the Hankook SRC juniors, and the work they've done this year you know, the kind of areas that they've trained people in, has been quite 3, 2, 1. The areas that they've carried out training this year has been so valuable to the competitors. They've all taken something away from the sessions at Stirling University and the other events that took place. So we have to take our hats off to the efforts of Andy Kelly, Campbell Roy and the other members of the Scottish Rally Championship Organising Committee, and Hancock for putting the prize up for the winning junior in the Scottish Rally Championship, which just happened to be our John McCrone, who won it in the 205, but it was open to everyone. And I'd like to go on to thank my fellow organisers. We have two kind of groups. We have the group that you see high profile, running about in rallies in our red shirts and that. I'm supported by Stephen Smiley, Richard Welsh, James Stewart and Leslie Maben. And without these guys, I couldn't do the job. They really put a huge amount of effort in and give an awful lot of support. So a big thank you to these guys. And then there's the people who are maybe not that obviously involved, but who do play a big role in the organising. Behind closed doors, we've got Andrew Pemberton, who's our Secretary and Treasurer, and Gordon Hasty, who is there to give advice and help, and he's a huge asset to our organising committee and helps us just steady things down, because we can sometimes get carried away. Gordon is there to point out the roads that we may find ourselves going down. So big thank you to these guys as well, and of course Andrew Wood, our chairman. Andrew does a huge amount behind the scenes, not a man of a huge number of words, but Andrew really does put his all into our championship, and he, like me, is extremely proud of what we are achieving. I'd also like to thank the people who are helping us, who are not on the organising committee. We've had 3 key people this year who have been out and about on events, giving us a massive amount of input and support. And we started with George Donaldson. To have someone like George, a very, very senior player in the world scene, who is a very senior man in Subaru, to have him coming along to our events and getting his sleeves rolled up the way he does is a real pleasure for all of us. And I might add for George, because George does it because he enjoys it, and he knows that what he's doing is appreciated, and by heavens it is. So George has given us a huge amount this year. And then we've got Fraser Jones. Fraser was a kind of volunteer to be our pundit, but he went along with it. Fraser was one in our championship earlier, so he knows about some of my weird ideas, but he played along with it, and we worked away at it during the year and got our pundit reports out. And I think these were of great value, because it was an opportunity to make comments on people, and of course on events. Fraser was out there helping George. And then the third one was Stevie Brown, who was a genuine volunteer. Stevie came up to us early in the year and said, "Look, I'd like to be involved if I can." And we very quickly took him up on his offer, and he was roped in to help out in the field doing commentary on drivers and doing interviews and all that sort of thing. So his presence also, I mean, because Stevie's been to do the BRC, you know, he's covered a lot more ground than most of our people. So his experience and his advice has been invaluable. So a big thank you to these 3 guys. Huge input and huge value to our championship. And of course the competitors. Where would we be without the competitors? Nowhere is the answer. But you can have competitors and you can have competitors, and we have a quality group. We have a wide group in terms of their skills and ability, but I think everyone has put their all into this year. Everyone has learned a lot from this year, and it's been a great pleasure as well to work with so many junior drivers. Out of the 22 registrations, we've had 17 junior drivers, and these guys are going to go on in the future to be the backbone of not just Scottish rallying, but European rallying and British Rally Championship. But the skills that are there in huge depth, and we just look forward to reading about them in years to come as they're hitting the headlines. And of course, the co-drivers. We had one or two very, very young co-drivers this year. A couple of 16-year-olds come in and do very, very well. And one or two other newcomers supporting drivers who are new to the championship. And it's a big step, and but everyone has taken a grip of it and had a go at it. So good on you all, and congratulations for all the success that you've enjoyed.